Hi, my name is Jacob White, and here is sermon number 2. So, I often question my leaders that are in charge of me. Sometimes I don't see the whole picture, and sometimes I just don't understand why they decide that things need to be done the way that they want me to do it. And this kind of aspect can just get into your mind sometimes, and you really have no clue what you're talking about. You just start to get frustrated, and you start going off on something else because your mom made you mad this morning. It had just nothing to do with what the main thing was half the time. But we often question our leaders because there's a sense of you want to be in charge. It all comes back to me. I want to be in charge of the situation. I want to be in control of whatever is going on. But yet, that can never always happen. So, has there ever been a time where you can think back on a situation or a similar conflict that this same exact thing has occurred? Where a leader that you trust has told you not to do something, but you didn't understand why? We tend to think that our best way to do something is what we think until someone else has a different plan. It's funny when we all agree on something like this, and then we look to the Bible, and we see what God has to say about it, and then we're like, oh crap, we gotta change. So, let's turn to Proverbs 13:13. It says in Proverbs 13:13, whoever despises the word brings destruction on himself, but he who reveres the commandment will be rewarded. So, right there in verse 13, we see that it says, the one who despises the word brings destruction on himself. So all we do is hurt ourselves because of this. This reminds me of a story. There was a man, it was a youth pastor, one of our really, really good friends. He was working as a youth pastor at his church, and he thought that he was like the best of the best. He was like, oh, I'm so cool, I have so many students coming to my youth crew, and all this kind of stuff. Well, one day he got a text from his boss, and he said, meet me at my desk, I had something for you. So the first thing that popped into his head was, I'm getting a promotion. It's great. I'm doing so good. There's no one else that's doing better than me. So he must be wanting to give me a promotion or something. So he decided that he was going to go to the desk, and he comes up to his pastor's desk, and his pastor has a bucket of white paint and a paintbrush. And he says, I need you to go paint a fence for me. It's dirty, and it makes the church look really bad and unclean. And it's the white fence right in front of the church, right in front of the front yard of the church. So this youth pastor, he takes the bucket, and he takes the paintbrush, and he goes out, and he just starts slinging paint all over the fence. It looked horrible. And then God got a hold of him, and he said, this is something small to you, but it's something big to me. And he realized that the fence was not getting any cleaner. It was just getting messy. Paint splattered everywhere. So he began to fix all of his mistakes, and then he continued painting the fence. He's still a little mad, but he just kept painting the fence, painting the fence, painting the fence. Over the next few months, the pastor started asking him to do more and more things. So he kept doing all these little small things, all of which he thought was completely irresponsible for his job. He was getting paid to do a lot more than this. Well, why did he need to do these tasks? They had other people that could do these. Volunteers could do these, he thought. So he just kept doing these little tasks over and over again. And before he knew it, all of a sudden the pastor calls him in once again. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna get another little task to do. And the pastor asks him if he would like to take the position as an assistant pastor. And at this point, the pastor had to tell the youth pastor had to tell the main pastor that he was sorry, because this entire time He thought all these little things were useless, whereas the pastor had to explain to him that all of these little things were the small things that he could trust him with. He saw that the small things were very important, and he could trust him with the little, so he knew he could trust him with the job as assistant pastor. So, when we look at the Bible about this, there's thousands of illustrations throughout the entire Bible of things just like this. But there's also things about the opposite. Look at the story of Samson. God gave him all this great strength, and all he had to do was not cut his hair. Eventually, he had this girlfriend who kept nagging him, and finally he told her his secret, and he said, "If you cut my hair off, I'll lose my strength." And that led him also to lose his life. He could have continued to have all his awesome strength. He could have continued to be great in the kingdom of God on earth, but because he couldn't keep the secret that God told him not to tell anyone, he died for it. Sometimes it's the little things that can make you or break you. But if you focus on not letting them break you, they're just gonna make you great. When you see that they are placed over you for a reason, these leaders, when you see that they're placed over you for a reason, you're gonna begin to grow. You're gonna begin to grow. When you begin to see what they might have in store for you, or you begin to understand why they're doing what they're doing, even if you don't at the moment, when you see it in the end, you're gonna be so glad that you just listened to what they said. And you're definitely not gonna get in trouble because you followed what they said. If anything, they're gonna be like, "Dang, I should have told you not to do that." But soon, they might even ask your opinion on things instead of just telling you to do everything. And once they ask your opinion, that's when you get the chance to speak up. That's when they are giving you the opportunity to impact them and help them think of an idea. But don't rest on it, because it's just an idea that you gave. Maybe that's not the idea that they're trying to think of. Maybe they have something better in mind, and they just want you to start to learn to express your opinion when they ask you, because it's another chance that they're giving you to show them that you trust them. Just remember, they always have the final say. In these positions, we can either grow up or we can blow up and leave everything behind. We can listen to those people that are set above us, that God placed in authority above us, and possibly gain something from it. Maybe not. At least you tried. Or you can fall into the trap and you can get all mad and angry because they didn't do what you wanted to do. They didn't do it the correct way that you thought it should have been done. And it's just going to tear you up inside. And eventually, you're going to be the one who loses because of it. The choice is up to the one in the position. It's up to us. We get to decide if we want a life where we are higher or a life that's down low. Are we going to let these leaders begin to train us and grow us? Or are we going to tear ourselves down because we don't want to listen? So don't let your mind trouble you. Don't let it overcome your thoughts. But you yourself overcome the troubled thoughts and follow the instruction of your authorities who can possibly lead you to growth, to reward, to success, to prosperity, to all these things. Don't let the trouble mind that the devil is going to try to place on you tear you down. It's not worth it. It's not worth losing all of the great aspects of the leader that you're training under. All of the trust that they're trying to gain from you. They're trying to trust you, and they want you to trust them. And if you don't trust them, then it's just gonna blow over in your head, and you're just gonna be like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? But if you just follow their instructions, everything will work out. Even if you don't think it will, God has placed authority over us for a reason. So don't let your mind destroy what you have the chance at growing with. Because it might be this very same thing that can lead you to your reward.